Hello. All right, so I got my second order from Beautylish from the gift card event, and this one's a little bit different. It has some Hindash packaging, probably because I got the Hindash highlighter, but I thought that was really cute. So let's go ahead and unbox this, and I will give you an overview of things that I got. All right, it's already opening itself up. All right, so these are the three things that I got. I'm really excited for all three of them. So, like I just showed you, I did get the Hindash highlighter in Liluna. It is I believe it was described as a lilac color, and I do kind of see it. I don't think you're gonna see it on screen. On screen, it looks mostly white, with maybe a grayish tint to it. In person, it is still very white, but it definitely leans a lilac or like a very light lavender color, but it's pretty pale. I also don't really see a gradient, which is I mean, it's not unexpected. I didn't see a gradient on any of the photos that I've seen for this, or I should say any of the videos that I've seen for this. So I'm not really seeing a gradient. But I'm really interested to see what this looks like on my face, on my skin. Highlighters can be a little bit difficult, especially as someone like me who doesn't like adding texture to my face, especially with makeup. So we'll swatch this and see what this is like. Or actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and swatch it. Why not? I do want to use the what was it called again? The Niji Pro to buff this in, but I am curious to see just what this is like color-wise. Very pearly. So out of the pan, and by the way, I'm sorry the lighting kind of sucks. It's the end of the day and my computer's having problems, so I didn't get the lighting that I was kind of going for. Um, so on camera and in the computer, I think what you're seeing is like a pearl color, and I think you're catching like a little bit of that color there on the computer. It kind of looks like a little bit of a pink flip. In person, I don't really see the pink flip. It actually looks very silvery on my finger. But you know what? Let me get out one of my actual silver highlights and we can compare it. I find that really light highlighters like this, you kind of need a few comparisons to kind of gauge what you're actually looking at. Okay, so I'm probably gonna run out of fingers here. So pointer finger is a Liluna. The one that I really meant to go in and get for comparison's sake is the Haus Lab highlighter in Moonstone. So this is it's just a straight silver. This is like a true silver highlight, and I think it's really beautiful. But I wanted to pull this out so that maybe you can see the difference. Because my one issue with the Haus Labs highlighter, you know what? Let me turn on the light. It's too dark. Okay, so this is not going to be as good of lighting, but you're going to get more light. So, man, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on your computer, but there is a difference between these two. The one from Haus Labs is definitely like a more stark silver, and I really wanted to compare these two because of that. And Liluna is just more, I don't know, like it has I want to say it has an undertone to it. It has other color to it. It's not just a straight silver. But I don't think that you're really getting that. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it, I think, until we actually swatch this out. Maybe it'll look a little bit different once we swatch it out. So other things I wanted to compare it to. Actually, let's not compare it to MAC. That one's really just it has a flip to it. I did kind of want to compare this. So this is the YSL, this is the blush, not the highlighter in 69. So this is the one that they didn't have available in the US. I did manage to get it, but I was kind of disappointed in it. It's really, oh, I'm gonna regret doing that. Some things I find don't do very well with like swatching like this. And this has been a very difficult um, product to get out of the pan to begin with. So this one is more of like what I would call like a true lilac or a lavender or whatever. Like it's purple. This is much more of a purple color. I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah, in the camera, it still just looks very silvery. I mean, you can tell it's not as stark of a silver, but I also just wasn't able to get up as much product as the other two. Yeah, my camera doesn't really pick up the nuances in color, so that's a bummer. But really what I'm seeing here is to just tell you what I'm seeing in person because clearly my camera is not good enough to pick up, or actually it's probably the lighting. The lighting sucks too. Um, Haus Labs is much more of a stark silver, and something about the Liluna is soft. This is a very soft silver, and I think it's softened by whatever lilac pearls it has in it. So the way I'm looking at Liluna's, I think it's kind of like a combo of these two. I did get out two Hourglass powders, but I don't think either one of them is going to be similar. So this is Ethereal Glow. And then this one is Moodlight. Yeah, Moodlight. We can swatch Moodlight. It's a lot darker though. Yeah, it's not a great comparison. Like Liluna's definitely more on the um, silver, but also like metallic side. Because remember, this is not a highlighter. This is a finishing powder. Although I use it as a highlighter. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to use this some to be able to know what I really should be comparing it to, but let's go ahead and swatch these. So this one is Liluna. Maybe we'll be able to see a little bit more of it once I swatch it out. So I swatch it out again, it looks more like a soft silvery color, but there's like it's not a straight silver. There's like other colors in it. And I'm actually kind of picking up like a light gold in there somewhere, which is pretty, but I'm not super excited about. I'm not going for gold. And I think that you'll be able to see once I swatch the Haus Labs, this is much more of just a straight up silver color. Haus Labs is more metallic. This one has more of I don't know, opaqueness to it. I would also say actually the Haus Labs appears to have a cooler tone to it, which is interesting. I was actually expecting the Luna to have as much of a cool tone, but just lean pinky or lilac-y. But this is actually leaning a little gold, which is interesting. And I have to say, I don't love that. I don't like picking up things that run warm because I'm very, very cool toned. But I think I'm going to need to see this in different lightings. It does look very soft. It does look more like natural on the skin, if that makes sense, just from the color. And I think it does have a bit of a softer appearance from the Haus Labs. The Haus Labs is very wet. It looks very wet on my face. I think that this is one's going to look a little bit softer. So maybe a wet look, but uh, not as wet. We'll see. Okay, I don't know if this is going to show up. This is from YSL. I'm just going to keep in this little area. Yeah, it's not really showing up very well. And it doesn't show up very well on my face either. But what does show up is a very pretty pinky lilac color, and maybe you can catch that a little bit. It's like right here, or actually in the computer, this is where you're seeing it, that pink color. For me, it works as a very subtle blush. It's very pretty, but it's kind of pain to work with. And then the last one here, I'm going to put way down here, is Mood Light. And this you're not going to be able to see in a swatch. It kind of melts into my skin, especially like when I'm this skin tone. This is a little bit darker than some other parts of me. I mean, you can kind of see it's like a little bit darker right here, but it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, the rest of it doesn't show up as much as these highlightery things. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to work with this a little bit to see what it's about. Um, 'Cause it definitely is different. And you know what? I wish I had my Hourglass highlighter trio. I think that would have been a better comparison for this, but we'll get around to that at some point. So that that's it for my initial impressions of Hindash, or the Hindash Liluna highlight. All right, so let's get to the brushes. So this is the Buffer Pro, and I have. Actually, let me just open this up first. Oh, ooh, that feels nice. Oh, I already put stuff on that hand. Oh, that feels really nice. That feels very dense. So I wanted to get this because, well, one, I wanted to get this for traveling. The other brushes like this that I have from Sonia G have the chunky handle, and I just don't want to deal with that when I'm traveling. It's hard to fit into um, travel containers. So even the one that I have from Sonia G, it's just a pain. So I wanted the pointier handle for that, but also I have both the Face One and the Face One with the little star on it. So I wanted to be able to compare all three iterations of the Face Pro slash Buffer Pro. Oh wait, it's not Face Pro. Face One. Face One and Buffer Pro. So let me get those out. I'll give you my initial impressions on what they kind of are compared to one another. All right. So we have here, this is the original Face One. It's very nice, dense, soft. This is one of this might be my favorite brush. I mean, I really like the Wayne Goss brush, the 00, but I wear Bare Minerals foundation, and this is the only brush that really makes it look good, that really buffs it into the skin. And I don't know why this is the only one that works for me, but I really love it. I also have the Face One that has the little star. And I do find this to be different than the original Face One. First off, I don't like the bristles as much. They don't feel as soft or as dense to me. Um, and it's very hard to explain because, like, on one hand, they kind of feel similar when I use them on my skin, but there's like a flow to this one. This one is like super soft and super dense and super flowy. And then the one with the star it really does just feel like an imitation of it. It's not as soft. Maybe it is as dense and it just doesn't feel as dense. I'm not quite sure. And it doesn't have quite the same flow to it, even though it feels a little bit more, I don't know if airy is the right word. It just feels like there's less oomph to the brush. I have to work at buffing in my foundation a bit longer, and I feel like I never really get the same effect. Like this just never works as well as the original Face One. And now as far as comparison of like the brushes and how they actually look compared to one another, I know that one of them is supposed to be more like flat than the other and vice versa. I find that shape-wise they're very similar. I think it's the star one that's supposed to be a little bit more have a bit of an arch to the bristles, like it's less flat. But as you can see, I don't think that there's really that big of a difference. Like there is a difference. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to like get an angle for you so you can see like I think you can see how the Face One is like a little bit more flat, and then the Face One with the star, it kind of fans out if you look at the bristles from like the going from the center of the brush to the outside of it. You see how they kind of splay out a bit more. I don't know. I don't know if that is the cause for the difference in how they work. I really think it's more the bristle quality and the bundling. I think that that's what causes the differences that I see. Not really so much the shape. I don't think there's a huge difference in the shape personally. So now that I have this, well, so I didn't think very far ahead here. This is going to be really hard to compare to these two because this hasn't been washed yet. I can tell you just using it on my hand here. The bristle quality of this does feel a lot better than the bristle quality of the Face One with the star. I just want to compare it with the original Face One. I mean, it feels softer, but again, like I just got this brush and it doesn't have makeup on it or anything. Um, to me, these feel similar in terms of bristle quality. I think the Face One might still be more dense though. The Buffer Pro feels like there's more eeriness to the brush. I don't know if it feels less dense. It almost feels like there's more flow to this, like while I have this on my hand, swirling it around, it almost feels like the bristles for the Buffer Pro are longer than the bristles for the Face One. I don't know if that's true. I actually thought it was the other way around. I thought the Face One had longer bristles than the Buffer Pro, but I can't really tell. And honestly, I'm just going to have to try these out. I'm just going to have to use them. So I don't know if I'm going to have much of a comparison for you right now, but I will do a comparison video of these in the future. My hope is that the Buffer Pro is going to be the same to me as the Sonia G Face One, because I really love the Face One. And if that's true, I will probably declutter the one with the star at some point. There's something about this brush that I just don't like quite as much as the original, which I think was the general consensus with the reviews that I have seen. Okay, so last brush, or last thing, is the Niji Pro. Okay, and I don't know how to take this off, clearly. I think I have to take off this sticky thing first. There's sticky on the other side, yes. I'm not very good at unpackaging brushes. Okay, now we take this off first. Maybe we can pull this up this way. Here we go. Oh no. Oh, some of these bristles look a little ragged. We'll see what they look like after washing. Oh no. All right. But ooh, this is a really pretty brush. I mean, just look at this. I mean, all of Sonia G's brushes are pretty, but like, this is a chunky brush. I did not realize, I mean, like, I know this is a big brush and everything, but I don't know how to compare this. Like, this handle is just, it's so thick. It feels great. But this is probably the thickest handle that I have in Sonia G's brushes. This may be the thickest handle that I have out of all of my brushes. And it's just, it's very thick for how long it is. Um, let me compare it to some of my other brushes. Okay, here's my other more chunky handle brushes. This one is the Yano series brush 2, and this is the Kairedo Kiwami. I can't remember which number it is, but it's the large powder brush. It's probably 001 or something like that. And this one's not a good comparison. This one is actually a thinner handle. I just always think of it as being thick, but it's also very light. And that's the other thing. This is like, this has some weight to it. So many of my other brushes, I get them and I pick them up and I'm like, oh, well, it feels a little bit light for how luxurious I want it to feel. This has weight to it. And I think yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Kairedo Kuwami. This has some weight to it, and the handle's also kind of like thick. But the way that this is constructed is just very interesting and maybe unique for my collection, because you have this like gigantic ferrule that pulls everything down to this small point, and then the red part almost flares out a little bit and creates this I don't know, it's almost like this oval shape like right here. It's just very interesting. Like, it doesn't look any different from the pictures that I've seen. It's just different to see it and hold it in person. I really like this. This is a nice chunky brush. And I was really interested in trying this. Or actually, originally when I saw the Niji Pro, it was marketed as a bronzer brush. So I immediately was just like, oh, time to ignore it. This isn't the brush for me because I don't do bronzer. I don't do bronzer. I don't do contour. I really just do blush and highlight. And usually when I do brush and highlight, I'm using smaller brushes, more specific brushes. But lately I've been wanting to kind of buff in some blush and some highlight. And I think I saw this in a review somewhere, and I was like, I wonder if I could use that. And then someone compared this brush to the Buffer Pro, not in terms of like shape or anything. These are very clearly completely different brush shapes, but in terms of buffing power while being very soft. And I really like that this was described as being very dense, like the Buffer Pro, and being very good at buffing while also being like very soft and very luscious. Because that's something that I really, really like about the Face One is just how beautifully soft yet dense it is. And there were a number of people who reviewed this in that same way using similar language. And I'm really happy I picked this up. This feels very silky. I do think this is one of those brushes that I really do have to wash before I can comment on. I think everyone who reviewed this said you absolutely have to wash this first. Otherwise, it's just a totally different brush. But I can tell just from using it right here, like this feels really, really nice. And I believe this is all goat hair. This is, I believe, dyed and undyed goat hair. This feels just as soft as the goat and squirrel hair mixture that I got from Wayne Goss, like in his eyeshadow brushes that I purchased recently. So I'm very pleased about that. This feels very, very high quality. All right, so I owe you guys updates once I figure out my thoughts on these products. But for now, thank you for sticking around during these unboxings. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions. But until next time, bye for now.